GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, Toronto. I'm Jordan Parker. This afternoon, we're covering a public health drug alert after a downtown overdose spike, celebrating the Marlies Calder Cup victory, and a heads up on heavy traffic from World Cup road closures. Also, don't miss the Indigenous Arts Festival at Beadosage Park. Over to you, Nathan.
The Indigenous Arts Festival opens at Beadosage Park on Sunday, featuring traditional dance, craft workshops, and spoken word performances from local First Nations artists.
Tickets are free, and the festival runs from noon until 7 p.m., with a family-friendly program including storytelling circles, drum circles, and a pop-up Indigenous marketplace.
Special guest artist Maya Redcloud will present a live beadwork demonstration at 3 p.m., and a shuttle service operates from Union Station every 30 minutes throughout the event.
That's the festival preview with free entry and live beadwork at 3. Lots to get to, so let's begin now. A new transit plan promises faster commutes, but riders fear hidden costs. Here's what you need to know before you head out.
Toronto Public Health issued a public warning on Friday after a sharp rise in drug overdoses was recorded across the downtown core. Health officials said the number of emergency calls for suspected overdoses has climbed markedly in recent weeks, prompting an urgent alert for residents and visitors. The agency urged anyone who sees someone in distress to call emergency services immediately and to carry naloxone where possible. Officials noted that the spike follows a sustained increase in overdose incidents throughout central neighborhoods, a trend that city analysts have been monitoring closely. The warning also reminded the public that safe consumption sites remain open and that outreach workers are available on the streets of the financial district, the entertainment district, and surrounding areas. Toronto Public Health said it will continue to track the situation and update the community as new data emerge.
Marina Mabrey lit up Friday night, matching the league's single-game three-point mark with 9 long-range buckets as the Toronto Tempo overturned a 16-point second-half hold to edge the Connecticut Sun, 101-97. Mabrey poured in 37 points, a career high that propelled the expansion franchise to its first dramatic comeback win of the season. The 9 triples tied the league's all-time single-game record, a milestone reached by just a few players. Toronto's rally followed a sluggish opening, as the Sun held a 16-point advantage at halftime before the Tempo ignited with rapid three-point bursts. The Tempo, still finding their rhythm in the league, surged in the final quarter, outscoring the Sun by 10 points and sealing the victory. The win not only gives the Tempo a boost in the standings, but also showcases the firepower of a team eager to make its mark in the WNBA.
The Toronto Marlies hoisted the Calder Cup on Saturday after a commanding 4-1 victory in the best-of-7 series. The AHL affiliate of the Maple Leafs clinched the championship in Game 5 at the Coca-Cola Coliseum, securing their second league title in franchise history. Toronto's young core, led by forward Alex Duffer and goaltender Maya Patel, combined for 37 saves and 3 goals over the final 2 games, forcing the opponent into a decisive loss. Coach Marco Ramirez praised the depth of the roster, noting how the team's balanced scoring and disciplined defense carried them through the playoffs. Fans packed the arena, waving blue and white scarves, as the Marlies celebrated a season that capped a remarkable run from the regular season standings to the top of the AHL. The victory adds fresh momentum as the Marlies look toward the next season's development pipeline.
Historic stained glass in Toronto is finally getting its creators the credit they deserve thanks to the tireless work of historian Henry Knight. For decades, he has painstakingly restored and cataloged the colorful panes that adorn the city's older churches, courthouses, and civic buildings, and today he announced that he has repaired nearly 50 windows. Knight's partner, archivist Talia Rixai, has helped compile detailed records that link each piece to the artist who crafted it, many of whom were previously unknown. Their joint effort shines a light on a hidden layer of Toronto's architectural heritage, turning forgotten glass into a public story. As the restored windows reopen to the public, the names of the craftsmen behind the shimmering art are now displayed alongside the panes, ensuring the legacy endures for future generations.
Senior citizens gathered outside City Hall on Friday to protest the abrupt loss of municipal funding for a community agency that had been running programs in a West End apartment complex. City officials announced the withdrawal of financial support and issued a deadline for the agency to cease all senior-focused activities. Demonstrators carried signs and chanted as they demanded clarification on the decision and urged the city to restore the resources that funded weekly exercise classes, social gatherings, and health workshops. The agency, which relied on the funding to coordinate transportation and volunteer services, said the cut leaves dozens of older residents without a reliable outlet for recreation and connection. City Hall representatives declined to comment on the timing of the funding removal, while senior advocates warned the shutdown could exacerbate isolation among the neighborhood's aging population.
Later, we'll break down the Germany-Ivory Coast World Cup clash in Toronto and revisit the downtown overdose alert. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Welcome back. Let's jump right into what matters, your local headlines and updates. Nathan Cole, the story you need, starts now.
Germany and Ivory Coast will meet on Saturday afternoon in Toronto for the third match of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The venue, set in the city's bustling downtown stadium, expects thousands of fans to fill the stands, creating a lively atmosphere for both teams and spectators. As part of the tournament jointly hosted by Canada, the United States and Mexico, this clash offers local supporters a chance to see world-class talent without leaving the province. German fans anticipate a disciplined performance, while Ivory Coast supporters look forward to showcasing their dynamic style. The game's timing means many Torontonians can catch the action after work, adding to the city's summer buzz. Both squads have arrived earlier in the week for training and media duties, ready to compete on Canadian soil.
Police said a Richmond Hill driver faces criminal charges after a June 19th collision in North York left a 2-year-old child and a second pedestrian with serious injuries. Toronto Police Service officers responded to the scene shortly after the impact, confirming both victims required emergency medical care. Police filed the assault and dangerous operation charges on the same day the crash occurred. The injured toddler was transported to a nearby hospital, while the adult pedestrian was taken to a trauma center for treatment. Investigators determined the driver's actions violated traffic laws, prompting the filing of those charges. Authorities noted the incident underscores the risks of distracted or reckless driving in busy city streets. The driver remains in custody pending a court appearance, and the police department will release further details as the case proceeds.
At approximately 6 p.m. Friday, June 19, a 9-year-old girl was struck by a motor vehicle at the intersection of Steeles Avenue West and Islington Avenue in North York. Toronto Police Service officers arrived on scene within minutes, securing the area and conducting an investigation. Toronto Paramedic Services treated the child for serious, non-life-threatening injuries and transported her to St. Michael's Hospital, where doctors confirmed the injuries required observation, but were not life-threatening. The collision occurred on one of the city's busiest traffic corridors, prompting police to close the intersection temporarily while traffic was rerouted. Officers are reviewing dash cam footage and witness statements to determine the circumstances of the crash. No other vehicles or pedestrians were reported injured. Police have asked drivers to avoid the area during the ongoing investigation. The investigation remains ongoing.
Right-hander Shane Bieber is back on the Toronto Blue Jays roster after a stint on the injured list for elbow inflammation. The club added him on Friday and expects to activate him within the next few days, giving the rotation a fresh arm as the season heads into its midpoint. Manager John Schneider said the team is monitoring his recovery closely and is optimistic about his readiness. Bieber's return follows weeks of treatment aimed at easing the inflammation that sidelined him earlier this month. If cleared, he could see game action soon, providing a boost to a pitching staff that has been juggling injuries. His presence adds depth to the pitching staff as the club approaches the stretch run. Fans at Rogers Center will have another left-handed option to watch as the Blue Jays push toward the playoff push.
The Toronto City Ombudsman released a 65-page report on June 19th, criticizing the Toronto Transit Commission's recent refund policy. The document says the TTC's decision to stop offering refunds for discontinued tokens and tickets was made without adequate decision-making, public consultation, or sufficient documentation. Riders had voiced complaints after the transit agency announced it would phase out tokens and tickets without providing refunds. The Ombudsman's findings highlight that the process lacked the required public input and proper record keeping. The report urges the TTC to revisit its approach and ensure future changes are supported by transparent procedures. The Commission has not yet responded publicly to the recommendations, leaving commuters uncertain about how refunds will be handled for the discontinued fare products. Many daily commuters rely on those tokens and tickets for short trips, and the lack of refunds could affect budgeting for regular travel.
Now let's check in with our weather team for the afternoon outlook.
A bright noon in Toronto invites us to explore today's weather and a slice of climate history. On this date, Toronto once sweltered to a record high of 33.3 degrees Celsius back in 2012, a peak that rode the tail of an intense heat wave across the province. By contrast, the coldest reading for June 20th came in 2004, when temperatures fell to 10.6 degrees Celsius during an unusually sharp Arctic dip. Our climate normals today sit around 27 degrees for the high and 16 degrees for the low, so both extremes feel far removed from the gentle summer we're enjoying now. Right now, the city basks under a clear sky with a comfortable 18 degrees Celsius, humidity sitting at 57%, and a gentle breeze of 6 kilometers per hour. As we move through the afternoon, the temperature nudges up to 19 degrees at noon and climbs to 20 degrees by 3 o'clock, still under bright cloud-free conditions. The UV index is 7, so sunscreen and a hat are wise choices if you'll be outside. Winds will stay modest, peaking at 19 kilometers per hour from the west, giving a pleasant feel without any chill. By early evening, the mercury eases back to 18 degrees and the sky remains mainly clear, perfect for a sunset stroll. No weather alerts are in effect today. Looking ahead, tomorrow Sunday brings an overcast start with a high of 18 degrees and a low of 12, so keep a light jacket handy. Monday warms up to a high of 22 and a low of 15. The sky clears, but there's a 35% chance of showers, so a quick umbrella won't hurt. Tuesday turns fully sunny, reaching 25 at its peak and cooling to 15 by night, ideal for outdoor plans. Wednesday slips back into clouds with a high of 23 and a low of 15, offering a gentle break from the sun. Thursday finishes the stretch at 22 degrees high and 17 low, mainly clear with a modest 20% rain probability, perfect for a relaxed weekend wind down.
Next, traffic snarls from World Cup closures, the Indigenous Arts Festival at Beadosage Park, and the Marlies Calder Cup win. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Major road closures in the Exhibition Place zone are snarling traffic this morning. Fort York Boulevard, Lake Shore Boulevard West, Dufferin Street, Strachan Avenue, and Fleet Street are all shut for FIFA World Cup events, and police are enforcing temporary lane restrictions. Drivers should steer clear of the area and divert onto the Gardiner Expressway eastbound, then use the Don Valley Parkway to reconnect with downtown. If you must cross the exhibition grounds, allow an extra 15 minutes and follow posted detour signs. On the transit side, TTC service changes take effect on June 21st. Several bus routes will run on reduced frequency, and a handful of streetcar lines will see altered schedules. In addition, crowds around the venues are likely to cause delays on TTC, GO Transit, UP Express, and MeWay services throughout the afternoon. Expect longer wait times and plan extra travel time where possible.
Indigenous Arts Festival lights up Beadosage Park today with free live music, vibrant art and tasty food, a chance to celebrate First Nations creativity and enjoy a picnic vibe. Over at Union Station Patio, the Soul Kitchen Plus Friends pop-up serves family-friendly bites and fresh flavors, perfect for a quick lunch break without missing your train. Grab a coffee and a taco while the city buzzes. Freeze the World brings a Drake-inspired dance party to Sneaky D's, turning the venue into a high-energy floor where the playlist spins club remixes and keeps you moving all night. Looking ahead, the FIFA Fan Festival rolls into Fort York and the Bentway tomorrow, promising a massive street-side celebration for soccer fans across the city. Bring a flag for electric energy. So soak up culture, food, and music now, then gear up for the world's biggest football party this weekend. And now here's Marcus with sports.
Championship vibes surge as Toronto's AHL squad clinches the Calder Cup. The Toronto Marlies secured the AHL Calder Cup with a 4-3 victory over the Chicago Wolves in Game 5. Vinny Lettieri's power play strike in the second period proved decisive, delivering the championship on Friday in Toronto. Following the triumph, the Marlies lifted the Calder Cup as Logan Shaw joined the celebration, while forward Artur Akhtiamov earned playoff MVP honors. The award highlights his impact throughout the postseason, capping a memorable championship run for Toronto's AHL franchise. The Toronto Marlies have repeated as Calder Cup champions, capturing the 2026 title and cementing back-to-back dominance in the AHL. Their continued success underscores the depth of the organization and adds another chapter to the city's hockey legacy.
Osha opens its doors in Scarborough, bringing a fresh twist to Toronto's Thai scene. Situated on the bustling McCowan corridor, the Excensus Group's new restaurant blends traditional Thai flavors with the Korean-style Mokkata grill, letting guests choose from marinated meats, fresh seafood, and crisp vegetables while they fire up tabletop grills and swirl hot pot broth. The interactive experience turns a meal into a shared event. With dozens of jobs created, the spot gives local residents a vibrant place to gather and tourists a taste of authentic communal cooking. Neighbors note the tempting aroma drifting onto the street has already become a weekend landmark. In a city built on diversity, Osha Mokkata reminds us that food can connect neighborhoods, one shared plate at a time. And later we'll celebrate Henry Knight's beautiful work restoring Toronto's historic stained glass windows. A true labor of love. Stay tuned.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From City Hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on GMna for the local sunset, Montreal's evening newscast.
Toronto's downtown core is about to see a major change as Church Street will be shut to vehicles this summer, creating a pedestrian-only zone between Wellesley and Yonge as part of a new pilot project. City officials say the closure aims to boost local businesses and test traffic alternatives. Carl Dumont is there. Carl Dumont.
Thanks, Jordan Parker. I'm standing on Church Street between Wellesley and Yonge, and the usual rush of cars is gone, replaced by a ribbon of red paint and portable bike racks. Temporary wooden benches line the curb, and a pop-up cafe has set up a chalkboard menu beside a string of fairy lights. Pedestrians stroll past street-level art installations, kids chase bubbles near the new water feature, and cyclists glide on the widened lane marked with bright yellow tape. City workers are still tightening bolts on modular planters that will later host seasonal flowers. The air smells of fresh coffee and late summer rain, while storefront windows display support local signs that seem to glow under the afternoon sun. This pilot gives downtown residents a chance to reimagine how the city moves, proving that a single street can become a community's living room. Shop owners along the block report a noticeable uptick in customers, handing out fresh pastries and chatting about the new open space. Carl Dumont virtually at Church Street.
In the heart of Scarborough, at the lively stretch of Kennedy Park where the lake glints against the late morning sun, the annual Ford Fest unfurled like a neighborhood block party. Families drifted between rows of colorful tents, the scent of maple-glazed pork ribs mingling with fresh-baked apple pies from a local bakery. A high school marching band, drums thumping, brass shining, wove through the crowd, while a group of teens from the community center set up a pop-up art studio, handing out bright painted canvases to curious kids. Among the buzz, longtime resident Mrs. Alvarez watched her grandchildren spin on a makeshift carousel, their laughter echoing over the gentle hum of conversation. When the festival's organizers announced a surprise grant of $5,000 to the nearby youth hub, applause erupted, and the room felt a little tighter, a little brighter. It was a reminder that even a political gathering can become a shared moment of generosity and joy. Enjoy the rest of your day, and remember it's the people around us that make Toronto shine.
From the studio on King West, I'm Nathan Cole, and we're turning our eyes to a bright afternoon on the banks of the Hamilton Harbor. At Tim Hortons Field, Bo Levy-Mitchell stepped onto the turf with a familiar grin, the roar of families and longtime fans swelling like a tide as the Tiger Cats prepared to host the BC Lions. The game unfolded with a rhythm that felt almost celebratory. Mitchell's arm sliced through the cold November air, delivering a crisp, spiraling pass that found a rookie receiver in the end zone, igniting a chorus of cheers that echoed through the stands. Midway, the stadium lights caught the sparkle of a young boy's foam finger, a reminder that this community gathers not just for the score, but for the shared moments that bind them. When the final whistle blew, the scoreboard read 41-27, a decisive win that capped a showdown among last year's CFL Outstanding Player finalists. The crowd lingered, clapping long after the last play, faces lit by pride and the simple joy of a hometown victory. It's a reminder that sport can stitch a city together, one hopeful snap at a time.
Thanks for tuning in, Toronto. Tonight's highlight, Marina Mabrey's record-tying three-point night as the Toronto Tempo rallied past the Sun, reminds us why we love this city's spirit. I'm Jordan Parker, and I'll see you back tomorrow for more stories that matter to our community each day.